Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our, what month is this? Oh my gosh, March. To our March Director Leadership Team Huddle. So we actually just ended our, um, let me backtrack. Last weekend, we had a leadership workshop. I worked with someone in my upline, Danette Kroll, and we worked together to host a leadership workshop for some of our directors who were able to attend with us. And it was a wonderful experience. We actually have somebody on the Zoom right now who was there, who was with us. Um, Abby, I'm gonna like totally put you on the spot right now. Would you just share maybe like, is there something that maybe like really stuck with you from the workshop that we shared that has made an impact on your business at this point? Or like, is there maybe just something you want to share about the workshop? We'd love to hear from you, maybe a takeaway, anything you want to share.
So I think that one of the things that I really enjoyed was just meeting like a new group of people and being able to connect with them. And we have like a group going where we're all just bouncing ideas off of. And I also thought, as far as um, the workshop like weekend, I really enjoyed two things. I enjoyed our dreaming session. Like that was just very impactful for me because I've never done anything like that before. And then the other thing, I really enjoyed our time where we were just like our group sessions where we would learn, but then we would come back as a group and just kind of bounce ideas off of each other. I really enjoyed that too.
Good. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I love about a workshop is we are not attending a workshop to just learn from the people hosting the workshop. We learn from our peers, our fellow leaders that are at the workshop with us. So I'm glad that you said that because we definitely wanted to make a lot of time for that because it is important. And if you're watching this and you're like, hey, I've actually been thinking about hosting a workshop for my leaders, sometime here in the near future, I am going to make a video to just kind of share like what I learned from my first workshop experience and just kind of sharing some of the things that we did with you guys. So look for that if that's something that you're thinking about doing and you're a little nervous. Because I was nervous. This was my very first one. My gosh, the whole drive over there. Well, really the whole week leading up to it, I'm just praying, God, please, like, help me make this impactful. It was called Impact. So I just keep saying impact, impact, impact. But help me make this impactful, help me make this valuable for the people coming and that are sacrificing time and time with their families and time at work and whatnot to be here. So it's a lot of pressure. Like I get it. I was scared to do my first one too, but I'm so glad I did it. And I will definitely share my takeaways with you guys very soon. And Abby, it is so funny that you mentioned the dream part because that's actually how we're going to begin tonight. Because I too felt like that was one of the most impactful parts of the workshop. So that's actually what I'm going to kind of try to duplicate right now. I don't know how well it's going to work considering we're not all in person like together, but hopefully they'll at least get the vibe and the gist of it. Okay, so Abby already shared with you guys that this was valuable to her. So you heard it from somebody who was there. So what I want to really ask of you is for you to just like trust me. No, I'm not going to ask you to drink some juice, but I am going to ask you to trust me. I want you to like come along with me on this adventure. Okay, so I want you to really think about the things that I'm going to share with you. So I want to ask you, are you a dreamer? Are you someone who dreams? Or are you just an aimless doer? In this business, especially during our grind seasons when we're just grinding really hard, we're working really hard, it can be easy to forget what we're actually doing this for. We just can kind of get caught up in the day-to-day and lose sight of our bigger purpose. And maybe that's not you. Maybe you're like, no, I do dream. I do that. Um, Another thing I want to challenge you to think about is we so often in the business talk about our why and that, oh, what's your why? Why are you doing this? But I don't really think that the why is it, right? Like, I don't think the why is the end all be all. What I love to say is that I am creating a life I love by selling products that I love. And to me, that's what it's about. It's about creating a life you love while doing work you love. So instead of talking about a why, I want to challenge each of you to think about your life and what you want your life to look like because Sensi is part of it. So I want to ask you guys to dream with me. Okay, so we're going to do part of this together. And then after you watch the replay, or after you're here with us now, after you are on this with us now, I want to challenge you to do it after this. Okay, but for now, I just want you to dream with me. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes. So Angela and Abby, you're both on here. Close your eyes for me. Like, really get into this with me. Just trust me through the process, okay? So close your eyes and try to cut out any of the noise, your to-do list, any of the things that are on your mind. Try to clear your mind as best as possible, okay? I want you to bring all of your dreams, everything that you're working for, to the forefront of your mind. I want you to bring that place you want to live, the house you want to build, the car you want to drive, the life you want to lead. I want you to bring all of those things to the forefront of your mind. We're going to talk about a typical day in the life. I want you to imagine what a typical day in your life looks like. How would you like to start your day? Maybe you want to start your day with a workout, a family walk, a big breakfast with your family. How would you like to spend your daytime? Maybe you take the kids to school, get in some work time, go to the gym, get a mani-pedi, go shopping, aka Target and Starbucks. Maybe take a nap. It's your afternoon. Do with it what you want, right? Maybe you want to take a nap. How would you spend your evening? A date night, a family dinner out, a family dinner in, watching a movie? I want you to open your eyes now. Wasn't it nice to just cut everything out and just kind of dream for a minute and think about how you would like to spend your days? So, what I want to challenge you to do after this call is sit down and think about the life that you want to create and what you want that life to look like on normal, day-to-day, average day basis, right? And what I want you to take from that, what I want you to do with that is create something that is going to inspire you as you move forward in your business. So what we are calling it is a letter from your future self. We're calling it a letter from your future self. You're going to write a letter. I want to challenge you to write a letter expressing gratitude for the life that you've built through your Sensi business, encouraging your current self to stay focused on what is to come and what your hard work and determination is building. So to make it a little easier, to help you guys understand really where I'm going with this and what I want for each of you to have in your hands to help keep you inspired and encouraged along your journey, is this letter. And the reason I know how valuable this is because many years ago in a book, I don't remember what book, but many, many years ago, I did this activity. It was in one of my books. And look, I'll show you my original letter. Here's my original letter that I wrote several years ago. This was before I was even a director, that I wrote this letter. And I have always kept it. And it served many times for me as a reminder of what I was working towards and how important it was to stay the course, because I was building something that wouldn't happen overnight, but also wouldn't be taken away from me overnight either. Okay, so I know the power of this letter because I hung on to mine, and I want you to hang on to yours. So I wrote a new one that I'm going to share with you guys now, so you can kind of see a better example of what I'm talking about, so you can create your own letter. All right, so here's mine. Dear Katie, literally, it's a letter from my future self to my current self. Okay, dear Katie, I needed to take a moment and thank you. I want to thank you for your hard work you're putting in. I know you're in a grind phase of building our business, and it can get exhausting at times. But I need you to know what's coming. I need you to know that your hard work pays off. Have faith and be encouraged. We got this. I spent the day today doing all the things we once dreamed of. I started off the morning getting Callahan ready for school. He attends that nice private school we once hoped he could, and he loves it. He is thriving in school and as smart as a whip. After drop off, I had my devotional time and then a great workout. Got cleaned up, had a fantastic coaching call with one of our up and coming leaders, and put in some Scentsy work time. Then Matt and I went and grabbed a long lunch at one of our favorite places on the water. Matt was able to retire early, just like we've always hoped and prayed for. So he spends his days as he pleases and helps a lot with our Scentsy business and around the house. Isn't that amazing? Ran some errands, and by errands, you know I mean Target and Starbucks. After picking up Callahan, we went and got frozen yogurt with Matt and headed home. We ordered in dinner and ate as a family. After dinner, we went for a golf cart ride around the lake. The sunsets are so beautiful. We came back to have a fire in the fire pit and make s'mores. It was the perfect day. We worked so hard to get here. It's not that we don't continue to work hard, because we do. Now we choose exactly how and when we work. Now we have comforts and freedoms we once only dreamed of. I need you to know how grateful our entire family is for your sacrifices you're making as you grind. As your paychecks don't really match your time spent hustling. That will change, Katie. Stay focused on income-producing tasks, building leaders, and staying inspired so you can inspire. You do that, and this future will be ours. All that will stand between this future and you now is time. Thank you for making the most of that time and creating this future for us all. Love, your future self. So that is an example of what I'm talking about that I want to challenge each of you to do. This is an activity that we did at the workshop, and after I read my letter, I gave each of the girls about 30 minutes or so to spread out and write their letter to their future selves, and it was a very, very meaningful experience. I could tell from all of their, and I mean, Abby even shared at the beginning that that was one of her standouts, and she didn't even know that I was going to talk about it tonight. So I really want to challenge you to trust me and give this a try. And keep this letter somewhere where you're going to see it every single day, every single time you're going through a challenging season. Like I mentioned, and that part isn't quite accurate for me, but I put it in there because I really wanted it to be an example for you if you're in like that grind season of your business. But in the business, as we are growing our business, we're going to be at a point where our hustle is way up here and our income is not at that level that it should be. But as you continue to hustle, this climbs higher and higher and higher and higher. And then you get to the point where your income way exceeds the time that you're putting in. That is just the shift that will inevitably happen in your business if you stay the course and focus on those right things. Sorry, I cannot handle the notifications. I will go like all squirrely. Let me silence this. So that's why I put that in there, because we have tough seasons as we're growing our business. It's not easy. And that's why everybody doesn't do it because it's not easy. It is not easy to push through when we go through those difficult seasons, or to push through when we're exhausted and we feel like this is not worth it. My money, my return on my investment of time per hour is not good. Like, every single superstar director, every single person that you look up to in this business has felt that exact thing at some point in this business. Some of us for years. But we wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't push through and continue on through those seasons. So this letter can serve to remind you of what you're building and what you're doing this for. Like I said before, I don't really like talking about a why anymore. I really don't. To me, the way I look at this is, we are creating a life we love by doing work we love. And so let's talk more about the life we're creating and what we want our day-to-day to look like. And let's let that inspire us more than just a why. So I hope that this is something that you'll write and you will try and you will utilize. Okay, so as we're talking about creating a life we love by doing work we love, that is not done by being focused on ourselves. Like, where I am in my business today, I am not here by being focused on myself. I am here because I focused on others. I am here because I turned my perspective outward. And that's when the real growth in my business happened, when I made that change. Like, I don't know if you've heard my story before, girls. I think all of you guys know. I got to director about a little over a year and a half into my business. But I really feel like that first year and a half was such a waste because I didn't get it. But once I got it, when I went to Cincy Family Reunion, I was a director within 2 months of attending reunion. So, I was just in a completely different space before attending reunion. After reunion, I'm like, whoa, I get this now. Okay, yes. And so I promoted to director 2 months after attending reunion. But after that, I was a director for 4 years. For 4 years, I was trying to kind of break that ceiling between director and star director. I promoted to star director, and then the following month I promoted to superstar director. So it was a long haul as a director, and then a very short experience as a star director. But I say all that to say, for too long, just being totally honest with you, for too long, my perspective was focused in on me and myself. And once I really started shifting my perspective to thinking about the people that God had blessed me with and the people that God had charged me with, because every single person is on your team for a reason and for a purpose. And I believe that that's all God ordained. And so these are people that have been gifted to me. And so when I shifted my perspective and started thinking about these individuals and how I can serve them and how I can serve them well and what it is that they want and how I can help them make that their reality, that's when things really started to change. So creating a life we love is not founded by focusing on ourselves. It's founded by focusing on others and how we can serve them well. So there's oftentimes confusion for leaders in deciding who to work with. I don't know how to figure out who to work with. I don't know who to work with. Do I only work with my front line and then teach them to work with their front line? Or do I work with everybody in my team? Like, there's so much confusion there. And so that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to talk about, is how to figure out who to work with and then how to work with them. So I'm going to do a little screen share. Okay. Can you guys see that? Give me a head nod if you can see my screen. Perfect. Okay, so I will share this resource with you as well. Let me enlarge that. Is that better? Can you see it better, girls? Okay, good. All right, so I will share these resources with you as well. I was waiting to share them until tonight. So now that I've done this video, I will share these resources with you girls. Abby already has them because she attended the workshop, and we went over these at the workshop. I think it will be very, very beneficial for all of you to have this kind of blueprint to work off of. Okay, so what I want you to do is print these couple pages off once you have the file. You are going to utilize this to kind of categorize your team members to really identify who to work with and how. Okay, so let's talk about the different qualities of each of the different categories of your team members. And hey, if you have an iPad or a tablet that you want to pull out and you want to pull up your workstation while we're looking at this together, so you can kind of look at people and start thinking about who you would put into each category, by all means, feel free to do that. Okay, so first we're going to start with the unengaged section down here. So unengaged team members. These, and when we say team members, I truly mean team. If you have a team of 50, I'm talking about the people in your team. If you have a group of 1,000 and a team of 300, I'm talking about your team of 300. That's what I'm talking about. So I am not just talking about your frontline. I don't want to encourage any of you to only focus on your frontline, because if you focus on your frontline, you are missing out on opportunities to serve people deeper down in your organization who need you. And there are so many instances where you're going to have a rock star that might be, a 0.5 or a 0.4 to you, but they could still become your first generation director or your second generation director or your third generation director. So I don't want you to be super hung up on frontline. I want you to look at your team as a whole. And you're never going to, if you have a frontline or a 0.2 that's a rock star, you're going to be honing in on that person and teaching them to work with their rock stars. So you're never going to be stepping on the toes of someone who cares if their toes are stepped on, if that makes sense. Like, if somebody is not doing anything and they're like a lead consultant and they have a superstar consultant below them that you want to work with, you're not stepping on their toes because they're obviously not in the game. So don't worry about stepping on the toes of somebody that's sitting on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody's sitting on the sidelines, they're not even in the game. Don't be too worried about stepping on their toes while you're playing basketball. You get what I'm saying? And if they have a problem with it, then you can send them to me. Because we work with the people that are not only showing or saying that they want it, but are showing that they want it. And if that's not them, then it's not them. So unengaged. Let's talk about unengaged. They might stay active, but not much else. They are uncoachable, and timing is very likely an issue for them. You'll notice timing may be an issue is in a lot of these categories, because that is one of the most common issues with consultants, is that they have time challenges, meaning they feel as though their work, their kids, whatever, all the things going on in their life are creating challenges for them to be able to work their business. Okay, so that's unengaged. Now, you're probably looking at that and thinking, gosh, that's like the majority of my team. And it might be, but that's why we continue to recruit and continue to bring the fresh blood, that fresh life into our teams and our organizations, because when we start early with them in goal setting and working, which we're going to talk about those high potentials in a minute, it really makes all the difference. All right, so next, consistent player. So consistent players are somewhat engaged at times. They set small goals and achieve them, may or may not be coachable, but you can count on them to submit parties and stay active. And again, timing may be an issue. So consistent players. And I want you guys to know, like, this is numbers based and conversation, relationally based. You know your team members better than I know your team members. So I can't look at your reports and say, oh, this person's consistent, this person's high potential. there's two, factors that play into this. It's the numbers, but it's also the relational side. And the relational sides with these team members better than the numbers can just say. So don't just, sometimes it's easy for us to become biased about our own teams. It's easy for us to say, oh, well, her numbers may show this, but her attitude is this. So no, no, no. Don't be biased about that. Let both actions, like both the relational side and the numbers side, have an equal share, an equal fight in this game. Okay. So don't let your personal feelings or any of those things sway you too far in one direction, if that makes sense, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that would be the descriptions of a consistent player. Engaged, possible high potential. They are engaged. They're actively participating pretty consistently in your team page, on team trainings or team get-togethers. They usually attend like World Tour or Cincy Family Reunion. They are an engaged participant in the Cincy journey with you. They set higher goals and sometimes achieve those higher goals. Timing may be an issue for them. They are low to no drama, meaning they're pretty consistently in the game. It's not like you're often having to say, oh, well, they're going through something really challenging, so she's kind of dipped out for a little while. We have those team members that we feel like, oh, there's a good 2-3 times a year that they go through a challenging season and they kind of dip out for a little while. So an engaged team member doesn't have that. And if they do, it's very rare. 4 parties booked most months. So they're consistently partying. They're not just getting their sales by being a order taker. They are doing parties consistently every single month. They want to recruit, but might be struggling doing so. And they are definitely coachable. They are coachable. They're willing to hear you out. They're not just sitting there giving you the yeah, 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 yeah. They're not just yesing you through the whole conversation. They are coachable. They are willing to try, most often, things that you suggest. So that is an engaged, possible, high potential team member. So high potentials, these are the ones that we are the most excited about, right? This is the golden goose. These are the people that we get so excited about, and they are our rare, precious gems. So the one thing I want to say about high potentials before I get into any of the qualities of a high potentials are always new recruits. New recruits always need to go in the high potential category. They have 70 to 90 days to prove to you that they are not a high potential. But when they come on board, they are 100% a high potential. Okay, they are highly engaged. They set higher goals and achieve them. They inspire others around them with their excitement. Their passion is contagious. They have no drama. They are doing 4 to 6 parties a month. They are consistently partying, and the receipts are there. They are currently recruiting or want to recruit more than they are recruiting, and they are coachable. Okay, so again, I will give you guys these resources so you can print this and kind of have this handy as you look at your workstation. So what is next? You need to run a report. You need to look at your team, and you need to take the time to go over every single individual one at a time in your team and categorize them into the different categories. Let me go back to it. Okay, here we go. So you're going to use this sheet right here, and you are going to write in pencil, putting them into each of their categories. Now, maybe you're not a pen and paper person and you would prefer to put this into an Excel spreadsheet. You can, by all means, do that. This is just a template that we're providing you to be able to use if you're just wanting to jump in and get it going. But what I want to encourage you to do is please write their names in pencil, because like I said, your brand new recruits are going in the high potential, but they might not stay there. Hopefully they will, but they might not. And somebody who's a consistent player might bump up at a couple months to engaged, possible high potential. This is a fluid spreadsheet, and I would say at least once a quarter you need to reflect on who's in what category and look at that and see where they need to be moved to. Okay, so those are the different qualities and how we want to categorize them. So really every single month, we need to be taking a planning day to really review our business, who we're working with, who we're partnering with, and how we're doing so. So what you want to do is ask yourself for your business what you want to stop doing, start doing, and continue doing. Basically, reflect on your business and ask yourself what's working, what's not working, and what do I need to start doing that I have not begun doing yet. And this is both for your personal business and your team. The high potentials from your spreadsheet, the high potentials are the people, those are the top 20% roughly that you're going to be working with in the upcoming month. And that's why I said you want to write this in pencil, because they are going to be moving around as things change. Okay, so that is how to identify who you're going to work with. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, please feel free to use the chat. If you have any questions about the how, or the who, I should say. Okay, so that's the who. That's how you identify who to work with. So next we're going to talk about how. How do you work with them? Okay. I wonder if I should just share this with you guys. Let me see. No. All right. It's not pretty enough, so I'm not going to share it with you. It's just my notes in Word. So I'm like, oh, that's not very pretty. I'm not going to share that. Okay. All right. So how do you work with them? What does that actually looks like? Okay. So really you've got 3 core words that you want to think about as you're thinking about working with your high potentials. So your high potentials, those are the ones that are going to get the majority of your time. The high potentials are the people that we're really focusing on in this conversation. And then your engaged are going to get kind of a piece of that pie, right? Your engaged are going to get a piece of that, not quite as much as the high potentials. Your consistent players are going to get a piece of that. And then your unengaged, they come to you when they need you, right? And that's the majority of your team. And that's how we can have teams of 300, 500, 1,000. Hopefully you don't have a team of 1,000. You better have some directors in that 1,000 to make your team smaller than that. Okay. So hopefully you don't have a team of 1,000. If you have a team of 1,000, then we need to work on your training. We need to work on your one-on-one coaching. But that's how you can have large teams, because you're not going to be working closely with the majority of your team members. The majority of your team members just want to know that if they got a question, they can come to you for the answer. The majority of your team just needs you to be Google. That's the truth. But the high potentials and the engaged and a little bit of the consistent players need a little bit more than that. Okay, so that's how we can do this, because the majority don't need us to do what we're about to talk about. It's the ones that are showing us that they want it and telling us that they want it, both. Okay, all right, so how do we work with them? The 3 key words: we inspire, we train, and we connect. Inspire, train, and connect. Inspire, train, and connect. All right, so how do we inspire? The best leaders are coaches, mentors, and role models who inspire others. That's what we work towards doing, right? We coach, we mentor, and we inspire others. Okay, so I'm going to say this first and foremost. If you are not taking care of yourself, you can't inspire anyone. Last year was one of the most challenging years of my life. My health was a major challenge, a major hurdle to overcome. And my spiritual life was very healthy. And I was taking time every single day to feed my soul, to feed my relationship with the Lord. But the business part of me was not, right? Like, I can see that there's a huge difference in my own confidence as a leader and being able to inspire others or impact others in a positive way in the business. I feel so much more confident in that today than I did, say, 6 months ago. And the reason is because I'm filling my tank as a leader. If I'm not filling my tank as a leader, if I'm not inspired as a leader, I will not inspire. And so it's that simple. Like, don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it. Don't belittle yourself and think that you're not worthy or you're not capable, because you are. You were given this team that you have for a purpose and a reason. You were presented with these individuals. These individuals were placed in your life for a reason. You were the one. You're the one. So have confidence in that, and confidence in that, and own that, and have gratitude for that. And don't think that you are unworthy, because you are absolutely worthy. Okay? You will feel most inspiring when you yourself are inspired. So every single day, what I do is I read a devotional for my personal walk with the Lord, my personal um, faith, and I also read one chapter of a business development, personal development book every single day. That has been something that I have done all year. I will not let myself go to sleep until I have read at least one chapter of a book, and done my devotional. And I can see a dramatic difference. Not that I wasn't able to inspire before, because I'm sure I was, but I feel more confident and more capable to inspire because I am inspired. So don't for 1 second believe the lie that you are not capable, because you are. You are more than capable. You are wildly capable. So please take the time to get inspired, so you have that confidence and that faith to be inspiring. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of share a few things about inspire and how we inspire as leaders. Okay. So first, we are setting the pace for our teams. We are leading by example. 500 PRV is the bare minimum. We are all shooting for the 2000 PRV and the 2 new recruits. Superstar leaders, I'm sure you saw that I am doing a special incentive for each of you. If you are a director in my organization and in 2022 you averaged 2 new recruits a month and 2000 PRV a month, you will get a $200 Visa gift card at the end of the year. I put my money where my mouth is, because I know what averaging 2000 PRV and 2 new recruits a month does for your business. So that's why I put my money where my mouth is, because I want to encourage you guys to do the same things that I've done and other leaders have done to get to a solid foundation in your business and a really healthy business. So 500 PRV is our bare minimum that we should expect of ourselves as leaders. And guys, I mean, with Sensi Club, we could set ourselves up with 2000 PRV a month in Sensi Club. This month I have 23 club subscribers. 23. That's a lot of club subscribers. At one point I had 0. We all start at 0. And through our intention and through our focus, we build Sensi Club subscribers. So for me, every month I maintain between 2,000 and 3,000 PRV through Sensi Club and my VIP mail. My VIP mail generates PWS orders every single month. I would say truly I do an average of 1 party a month. And when I say a party, I mean a bag party. It's typically a repeat hostess, but not always. So the majority of my PRV is coming from very, very, very passive means, PWS orders and Sensi Club. So I don't want you to be 2,000 PRV. I don't have time to do all those parties. I'm not doing all those parties to get 2,000 PRV. Is it important to party? Yes, especially if you are trying to really grow your business and grow your front line and get to star director and superstar director. Yeah, parties are more important at that stage for sure. But I just want you to know, You have so many means to get that 2000 PRV every single month. So focus on these wonderful opportunities that you have and run with them. Okay. So believing in yourself, our business opportunity, and the potential of others. That is so important for us to inspire, that we believe in ourselves and we believe in our business opportunity. So many times, like, we say we do, but do we really? Like, I don't, so many times we really don't. Like, do you think, Angela, Pepper, Abby, those of you that are on here live right now, like, do you think, like, do you really believe that you're going to get to a place in your business where you're averaging $5,000 a month in commission? Do you really believe that? Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't really believe that. Maybe you don't. Do you really believe that this business opportunity is a legitimate business opportunity to make life-changing money? Do you believe that that is the case for you? Or do you believe that, oh yeah, that's the case for other people, but it isn't reality for me. That's not ever going to happen for me. So we can say we believe it, but do we really believe it? And are we showing we believe it? Because guess what? You can't fake that. You guys know I'm freaking sold out to Scentsy, but I was sold out to Scentsy before it was my reality. You know what I'm saying? I believed that I was going to average $10,000 a month at least in commissions before I was averaging anywhere near that. I still freaking believed that that was going to be my reality before it was my reality. If you don't believe it, your team's not going to believe it. If you don't believe it, your network's not going to believe it. I mean, Angela knew me before. Angela's on here. She knew me long before I was averaging $10,000 a month. But I bet your butt she could say, yeah, I know that she believed she was going to get there even before she got there. She's in my team. She's my first generation director. She felt it. She knew it. I'm putting words in your mouth, Angela. Am I putting words in your mouth, or would you agree? Yes.
You absolutely believed it from the beginning.
And wasn't that important for you and your own belief for the business?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've known you, I've been on your team for 10 years and you've believed it from the beginning. So absolutely. And it was very important for my business.
Thank you. Thank you. It really is, like, our team members can tell. Our team members can tell if we believe it or not. They can. So do you believe it? You got to ask yourself that. Do I really believe it? And so everyone listening to the recording, everyone on here live right now, like, ask yourself, do I really believe in this business opportunity? And am I showing that? Am I talking about that? Or am I playing it safe in my own mind and playing it safe for my teams then in turn? Because the things that we're focused on, the things that we're thinking about are what we're bringing about. It's what we're talking about to our teams. Like, so think about that and reflect on that. Where is my belief at in this business opportunity? And what am I sharing with my teams? Am I playing it safe myself? And in turn, playing it safe in what I'm teaching my teams and sharing with my teams. Okay? Really think about that, because you're it for them. You're it. Thank you for your honesty, Pepper. I think that's awesome. You know, you're it. You're the closest thing that they have in their world to their hope, their faith, and their belief in the Scentsy business. It's you. You're their sponsor, you're their director, or their star director. You're the closest thing they have to that. So what are they seeing through you? Okay. Not only do you believe in yourself and your business opportunity, but do you believe in the potential of the people in your team? Are you seeing the potential in them? So creating a passionate culture. This is also how we inspire. We create a passionate, positive culture. What are you allowing in your team page? What are you allowing? Because guess what? Turn on admin approval. Don't let people just post all kinds of BS in your team pages and turn it into a cesspool. No, you control the narrative. You control that space. And if they don't like it, they can leave, because guess what? It's not a right. It's not a right. It's a privilege to be in your team page. And you need to protect that. You need to protect that culture. You need to protect that space. So if you don't have admin approval turned on, you should, because there are things that slip through that we miss because we're busy. We have day jobs, we have kids, we have things going on. There's things that we miss that people might post that completely derail our culture that we're trying to create. So think about that too. Focusing on the strengths of others. One of my favorite ways to focus on the strengths of others is if you see a team member doing something awesome, tell them that they're awesome. Ask them about why. Like, oh, your PRV has been amazing. What have you been doing? Tell me about how you've been getting your PRV. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Would you please share that in the team page? The team would love to hear this tip. The team would love to hear what you're doing. That is one simple, small way that you can focus on the strength of others and allow them opportunities to shine, allow them opportunities to stretch their leadership legs. And then guess what? Your team's not just constantly hearing from you over and over and over. And guess what? Angela, Pepper, Abby, you guys know you can say something to your team 1,000 times, but then you have a guest presenter come in and they say something that you have said 1,000 times, but they just say it one word differently, or maybe with a Southern accent or something. And your team's like, oh yeah, that's Bible. That's amazing. I've never heard that before. And you're like, yes, you've heard that before, but whatever. I'm glad you hear it now. So it's important that they hear from other people. And so even if it's even better, if it's somebody at their same title or somebody who's not a director that they can learn from, it's even better. So use those opportunities to highlight the strengths of others, offering that encouragement at those strategic moments, to have those conversations, find out what they're doing, and allow them the opportunity to shine and share. And by all means, have them do a live, have them post about it, whatever they're willing to do, get them to do that. Okay, and then just looking not just for the results, but also looking for the actions. And this is where it's important that our high potentials, we're talking about our high potentials, right? Our high potentials, are we following them on social media? Are we connected with them on Instagram? Are we connected with them on Facebook? Every one of your high potentials, you really should make sure that you are Facebook friends with and you are following on Instagram, so you can see what's going on in their lives, so that you can look for those opportunities to reward the actions, not just the results. If they're not on our radar, if we're not paying attention to them, we miss these opportunities to reward the actions. Or if we're not having conversations with them, we miss opportunities to reward the actions. And all we're looking at is the results. You know, when we're looking at our workstation, when we're looking at our performance tab, it's the results that we're seeing. It's not the actions. And the actions are even more important. So connect with them on social media so you can see, like, oh my gosh, you know, she just did a great job, like, sharing the business opportunity in her Instagram stories. I'm going to send her a quick message and tell her that I saw it and I thought it was awesome. You know, those opportunities to praise them. It's a simple, free. I shouldn't even say inexpensive. It's free. A voice message is free. A text message is free. But those moments make such an impact for people. Honestly, out of all the things I do, the voice messages that I send on Facebook Messenger get a higher response and positivity than anything else I do. Anything else, even things that cost money. I get a better response to free messages that I send with my voice on Facebook Messenger. People love to hear from you. People love to know that they are seen. People love to know that you care. So that's a very small, simple way that you can do that. But if you aren't connected to them on social media, if you're not being intentional about at least a couple times a month, just going and saying, like, oh, I'm going to go through my high potentials and I'm going to go to each of their Facebook pages real quick and just look around. Do that once or twice a month, just so you look for opportunities to praise the action. And just so you have a general idea of what's going on in their lives. It's important. So the other thing I wanted to say is about Inspire is where focus goes, energy flows. I say this all the time. And for years, every day in my planner, I would write down my PRV my team wholesale volume and my group wholesale volume. And in my planner for the next, I guess at that point there was probably about 10 lines because I had a different planner then. I think it had about 10 lines. But every single day I would sort by team wholesale volume, and I would write down the top 10 in team wholesale volume every single day. Why did I do that? Because every day writing their names down, every day seeing front and center who my high potentials were, basically. I mean, that's kind of what I was doing, right? Every single day writing their names down, seeing where they were at. And then when I talked to them, being able to compare and say like, holy cow, like this date last month, you were at such and such and you're already surpassing that. Like you're definitely on your way to getting paid at title. Like knowing those things is so helpful. I can't tell you how many times when I was doing that, I would have team members say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. This is so helpful. Like it really, and then literally I would have people message me and say, hey, can you tell me where I was at on this date, like such and such? Because they do want to know. It helps them to prepare. Of course, you want to be teaching them to write down their own numbers daily. But I'm just saying for me, this is the response that I got. I think it did help in them to see the value of writing their numbers down. And for me, it helped me to see who really needed my time and where my energy needed to go. Okay. So have these people be front and center right in front of your face all the time. It really, really, really makes a difference. I am so glad that I did that for the years that I did that. And then, of course, it's very beneficial to have some type of system. For me, what I have challenged you guys to do and what I basically did, I haven't converted it yet, but I basically have a sheet of paper where I have written down kind of all my monthly things that I like to do. So it's kind of just like a checklist system to help me. But at this point in my business, 12 years in, it is so just natural. I like pretty much don't even need my list. Like I just know the things that I do every single month on a consistent basis. But if you struggle with that, if you struggle, find a system that works for you. For me, I like to just, I brain dumped everything that I do. And so I created sort of like a checklist system for myself. So you can do something like that. Very simple. That's what I did. Have a system in place to make sure that you're doing the things every single month that you want to do, to recognize, to reward, and to stay connected so that you can inspire. And then I have a bunch of different things written down here that are some of my favorite ways to recognize, but I'm going way over. So I will just say there are so many ways that you can recognize your team members, both in things that are free, things that are inexpensive, or higher end things. But for the most part, what I do is free. Voice messages, emails, or very inexpensive. One of my favorite things to do is send gifts through Amazon. I have a list on Amazon of all of my favorite gifts. There is not a gift in that category, my team gifts category on Amazon, that is over $15. They're all very inexpensive gifts. A lot of times I will send like their favorite bag of candy. Like Pepper, we had a one-on-one and I sent you your favorite bag of candy. Like little things like that. It doesn't have to cost a lot, but it's meaningful, you know? And so Amazon is one of my favorite ways to send a little gift because it's fast, inexpensive, and I can include a gift note. So definitely think about that. Start like compiling a list of little gifts you can send on Amazon and stuff. A lot of times I'll send like for a little celebration thing, like if maybe somebody promoted to star consultant or something like that on my front line. I like to send them just like a little Duncan Hines cake, like one of the little microwave single cakes, so they can, you know, celebrate their promotion. It's very inexpensive. Include a gift note and done. Okay, so train. All right, we talked about inspire. Let's talk about train. So training, coaching. This subject, it gets me worked up. It gets me very worked up because I know the majority of leaders are not coaching. I know because I avoided doing it for a long time. I avoided coaching for a long time until I found a way that made me feel really comfortable. So the way I choose to do it, if you've never watched Chloe Cox's Coach the Coach series, that's how I do it. I like for me, it gives me confidence to go into a coaching call, or what I like to call them is success sessions. I like going into a success session knowing what we're going to cover. So that's why I utilize a form like Chloe coaches to do. So I have forms for the different titles in our compensation plan, and my high potentials that I'm working with, I present them with the Google form prior to our success session. So that way they fill it out. I know any areas that they're going to want to talk about or cover. So if I feel a little rusty about something that they want to talk about, I have time to do a little research and get a fresh new idea or something. Preparation is key in building confidence to have a successful success session with a team member. So that's why I like the forms. Now, you don't have to do the forms if that doesn't work for you, but for me, that's the way I do it. And then I try to stick to 30-minute success sessions. And we always utilize Chloe's little action plans that she has created. And the reason I like those is because I have a clear path to help them get to their specific goals. So if you have not watched her Coach the Coach series, give that a watch, and then everything that I just explained will make sense. Otherwise, you're probably like, what in the world is she talking about? But really, ultimately, with success sessions, it's more important that we listen than that we talk, because they have the solutions to their problems already. They just oftentimes need to talk it out with us and need that validation or need that encouragement from us. It's oftentimes not that they walk away from the success session like, oh, well, now I can be successful because Katie gave me these ideas. That's really not how they work. It's more that they need encouragement and validation from us. And that's one of the reasons I like the little form for the preparation, and also the action plan portion of it as well, because they work through it themselves to figure out exactly what they're going to do to kind of create their blueprint for how they're going to get to their PRV goal and their recruiting goal, and what their actions are going to be that they're doing. And I just kind of help them work through all of that. Okay. So accountability, creating accountability with them. We know what that means, right? I mean, that's simple. You can't have accountability if you're not communicating with somebody. You can't have accountability if they're not sharing their goals with you and you're not having conversations about these things and checking in on them, which is why I love our 333 initiative that we're doing. I've gotten, like, this last few days, I've been sending messages to people and checking in with people. And the feedback has been so good. You know, a lot of them achieved one of their goals, or two of their goals. I think I spoke to 2 or 3 people who achieved all 3 of their goals, which is fantastic. But that accountability of checking in with them, both the director who is participating and myself, checking in with them, helping them have that accountability and encouragement, has been the most important part of the whole thing. And we have to create accountability with them, accountability and support. Okay. And then partnering and goal setting, which again is why I love the 333 initiative. And I hope that all of you in our group will join me in promoting that, because we will be kicking off a new quarter in April. So new opportunities for people to participate and set their goals for the second quarter. Okay. So that's train. And then connect. Let's talk about connect. So how do we connect with our team members? This seems like kind of self-explanatory, but let's kind of dive in a little bit deeper. So to connect, we have to, like, truly partner with them. We have to make sure that they know that their specific goals are just as important to us as they are to them. And sometimes even more so. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes as their leader, it feels like our goals are more important. Like their goal is more important to us sometimes than it is to them, right? Like sometimes they lose sight of it. Sometimes they lose faith in it. Sometimes they lose hope in it. And so we help keep it alive. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a big part of connection to me, is showing them that they are that important to us, that we're not going to allow their goals or their dreams to die, that we are going to be there to help them keep it alive. So through connecting with them and knowing what they're working towards and what they want from their business, we can in fact do that. So how do we, let me think of how I want to word this. I guess what I want to say is think about your intentions. Like think about your intentions with your team members and how you want to connect with them. How are you making that a priority? Like how are you doing things to show them that you're vested? Like one of the things that I really like that Pepper does, and in fact I talked about you at the workshop this past weekend, Pepper, because I was talking about how important working sessions are. And what a working session is basically is you as a leader decide, hey, I'm gonna do, I'm gonna work tonight after work. Like I'm gonna spend an hour and I'm gonna work on my Scentsy business, you know, or hey, I'm gonna work my business tonight for an hour after I put the kids to bed, right? Like, so you decide when you're gonna have your after hours working or whatever, and you invite your team to join you in that working session. Let's get on Zoom, bring whatever you want to work on. I'm gonna bring whatever I'm gonna work on, and we can all just chat about Scentsy, show what we're working on, and hang out. That's like a working session. So basically, you present a date and a time, join me on Zoom, let's work. Let's have a little working powwow, working session. The people that are doing it, I've done it. In fact, Pepper and I, didn't we do a working session together with your team before you promoted to director? I thought so. So what I do is I offer these working sessions to my high potentials and their teams. So the high potential is kind of the key point there. They're the leader. So I offer it to them. That team member and I pick a date and time that works for us. And then she presents it to her team and says, hey, me and Katie are going to do a working session. You want to join us? You can ask any questions of her and I that you want. Here's the date. Here's the time. Please join us. So then they are really established as the leader because they're the one kind of getting it all set up. And then everybody gets on. And worst case scenario in that setting, it's just me and my high potential on. And none of our team members get on. Is that the worst case scenario? That ain't so bad, right? It's just basically a one-on-one then with me and my high potential team member. So there's a couple different ways you can do the working session. And Pepper, I know, has hers set up at like a standing every single, I think it's Tuesday. Yep. Every single Tuesday she has hers at a set time. So you can even do it that way, or you could even do it, hey, the third Wednesday, whatever works for you, once a month, twice a month, every week, whatever works for you. But whatever you do for these working sessions with your team, please don't overcommit yourself, right? The most important part of this connection is that it's consistent. And only through your consistency will you see the attendance grow and will you see anything come from it. So don't overcommit. It's better that you undercommit, right? Like if you're like, oh gosh, I don't know, do once a month or just do it randomly. You know, if you're like, hey, I can't commit to once a month, you know, on the third Thursday, then don't. But give them at least a couple days to know that it's coming up when you're going to present it. But that's one of my favorite ways to connect is through these kind of intimate, smaller setting working sessions. So think about that as you're going through your high potentials and see if that's a way that you would like to work with some of them as they're growing their teams. But connection really is ultimately about showing the people in your team, especially your high potentials and your engaged, that you value them, that you see them, and that in turn is going to provide them some of your time through coaching or accountability or partnering in goal setting or recognizing them or rewarding them in some way. All of those things equal connection. All of those things equal time spent. And how you want to do it is really ultimately up to you. So as we were talking about the different categories, the high potentials, the engaged, the consistent players, and the unengaged, as I was saying before, the majority of what we discussed tonight is what you're going to be doing with your high potentials in mind. And then your engaged team members get some of that, right? And then your consistent players get a tiny piece of that pie, right? Don't spread yourself too thin. And don't give people things that they don't want, right? Like a consistent player doesn't want one-on-one coaching calls. So don't try to give people or offer people things that they don't want. Most people that tell me coaching calls aren't working for them, it typically is the scenario that you're emailing your team members, everybody, and you're saying, hey, I'm offering coaching calls this month. If you want one, let me know. That is not going to be effective for having coaching calls. What is going to be effective for having coaching calls and having one-on-one sessions and being able to really set goals with people and help people take their businesses to the next level is focusing on offering those things specifically to a targeted audience of the people that are most engaged and most likely to take you up on doing so, right? And our wording is so important. I don't say like, hey, I want to have a one-on-one coaching call with you. I would say something like, holy cow, Angela, you have just been doing amazing. You promoted last month to lead consultant. I would love to get on the phone with you and talk to you more about your promotion and what you've been doing and how I can better serve you as your leader. That's how I would pitch it. Then I would present, she'd say, okay, yeah, that sounds great. And I'd say, hey, does this date and this time work for you? Give her a couple options, let her choose, and then say, hey, can you please fill this out for me before our call? Send her the Google form. She's having a coaching call and she doesn't even really know she's having a coaching call. It doesn't have to be like in this little box. They want your support. If we word it in such a way that it sounds intimidating, they aren't going to want that. But if we word it in such a way that I just want to support you and help you make the most out of your business, that is going to be something that they're going to be interested in. So if you feel like, coaching hasn't worked for me, but like she just keeps talking about it, like I guess I really do need to do it. You really do need to do it. Like if you're sitting here watching this recording, or if you're here with me right now and you're like, yeah, I've been stuck. I'm sick of being stuck. I want to grow. Or, hey, I want to help more people taste what I'm tasting. This is how you're going to do it. This is how you're going to do it. Focusing on your high potentials. Secondarily, focusing on your engaged, inspiring, training, and connecting with those individuals. That's how you're going to do it. That's how you're going to help more people be blessed through this business, and in turn be blessed, and in turn create a life you love. That's how you're going to do it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.